So, video number 1 is a new JCS video from 5 days ago called Amber's Afternoon. I've got no idea what this is going to be. As always, I have no clue other than kind of
Hello, Sneak.
what you guys tell me or what.
Thank you for being my background noise while studying for my philosophy
True crime,
final.
bam.
Chat help, it's in 1 hour.
True crime. If people are somehow confused or don't know why people like watching true crime with me, it's because I have a bachelor's degree in criminology. In fact, I dropped out of my master's program of criminology in order to pursue my career in playing Minecraft and watching videos as a job. So, here we are. So I use my degree every now and then to just watch true crime and make some sort of
freak man like for real.
Say some sort of things about it.
Cat kiss and hi, I Mr. Streamer, happy early Father's Day. So
yeah. Ads will play, ads feed my family. I like having ads on, and I don't really care if you think they're long. This is my job. So if you have a problem with how I work, you can find somebody who doesn't want I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, let's get started. Otherwise, we're going to watch like this video today, and that's it.
Lucky 13.
We're just freaking out outside. Hold on.
I'll have him bring that Gatorade. I'm actually gonna grab water myself. You want me to do something?
This looks like it's going to be a banger.
This is
20-year-old Amber Riswin.
Would be epic if Fable so mid-video we don't hear pregnant man or something Lamau.
You used TTS to ask if I was going to mute TTS?
Sitting inside a police.
Yeah, I guess I will. Boomer, it's okay, bud. Boom! Come here. Come here. It's okay. Come here. He's freaking out because my wife walked outside with my daughter. Orange Gate. Wait, Gatorade sounds really good. Guys, can I go get a Gatorade? I'm like dehydrated. I mowed my lawn this morning. It's hot. I also need to make Boomer like not freak out really quick. It's not orange. It's not an orange Gatorade. No? Okay, I'm going to go do it anyway though. So, oh my God, I'm so tired. I need to sit here and watch some videos for like 3 hours. Oh, how convenient. Look how dehydrated I am, Chad. I can barely pinch my skin up. God. If only I had a hydrating drink to quench my thirst. Sorry. All right. Let's get started.
This is 20-year-old Amber Riswin, sitting inside a police interrogation room at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. All you need to know at this moment is that Amber doesn't quite realize how much trouble she's in.
Full of carbs? There's 2 carbs in this. It's 0 sugar. Also, carbs are fine. Carbs are good for you. That's energy, bro. How do you think your body does things?
All right. Amber, is it?
Can I turn it up?
Edwards, I know we spoke on scene, and I asked you if you'd be kind enough to, come down here so that we could talk. Before we talk, I'm going to protect myself and protect you. Okay, and I'm just going to inform you of your rights. You have the right to remain silent and not answer any questions. And any statement can and will be used against you in the court of law. All right. So, broad and general question: what happened? Take a deep breath.
What happened?
Last night was a culmination of things that had been going on for the past week and month or so. I've been there since January, and Blake had been progressively more aggressive towards me. He would like make abusive statements. He would hold me by the wrists and like shake me around. He spit in my face yesterday, and he would also like have these.
Chat, self-defense, or do you think she's like setting up to say this is? Do you think this is framing up self-defense as a way to try to get away with it? Feels a little sus so far. Yeah, it's oddly calm. It's oddly calm for somebody who is clearly pretending they went through something. So we're gonna see what happens. Who knows? People always behave differently. That's why bodily movements and stuff don't detect lying ever, or they can.
Okay.
And then last night he decided to buy LSD.
Everybody reacts different. That's what makes humanity so interesting.
And then I laid down on the futon.
Okay.
In the center
I slept on a futon for years.
And Blake was starting to like play around with the gun. And he was pointing it at me at this point. It was like sideways. And so I grabbed it and I pushed his hand away. I grabbed it again and I let loose.
Where'd you shoot him on his body?
I think I shot him in his face.
Okay. And why there?
He was just there, like in front of me. He was smothering me.
Okay.
So that was like within my arm's reach.
Let loose is a crazy way to phrase it. Especially portraying yourself as the victim in this scenario, whether that's true or not. That's a crazy way to put it. But yeah, I just defended myself and just spray and prayed. In the first place she remembers shooting him is in the face. Oh my gosh. Guys,
He was just there, Lamau.
What's like the first statistic I tell you guys about gun ownership? Hold on, this display capture's a little messed up. Death? Yes. Yes, yep, pretty much. I wanna, maybe I'll do that, so. Yes, people who own gun more likely to die from that gun, by the way. Not just guns in general. If you own a gun, you're more likely to be shot by your own gun. Not even necessarily by yourself. Even though males who own guns have a higher rate of suicide and successful suicide, because, wow, it might be a little weird to have something so easily accessible and finite within your grasp at any point. Anyway. Or it could go down like this, where somebody in the same house can just be like, I know where the gun is. Bam.
There was this much of him.
I gotcha.
And he started spilling the blood everywhere, and he came up to like get me, and then that's when I cut him, because at that point I reached into my pocket, and I got my knife and I cut him.
Okay.
And then he opened the door, he got outside, and then he started screaming and saying like, help me, and yeah, then the other guard showed up, and he was like threatening me. He kicked me, that guard that called the police. Like they were being aggressive towards me too, and they thought that I was just some prostitute.
I gotcha. So as he's crawling outside, what's going on in this moment? Are you behind him? Or are you in front of him?
I was behind him, and I was like trying to like get him back inside. That way there wasn't like some scene. Like I really didn't want to deal with people outside.
Okay.
You may have already noticed that Amber's interrogation won't require a whole lot of analysis. So for contrast, you'll be presented with 4 additional subjects with very different personalities, the first of which will begin right away. From what we could research about Ashley Benefield, she was an extremely talented dancer, able to confidently perform with natural poise in front of large crowds and sold-out theaters.
What is happening?
But according to reports, her social presence was considerably more reserved, with people
Are we getting into body language analysis? Yes. Oh my God, dude, is he gonna shit on body language analysis? Wait, I'm so excited.
People describing her as friendly, but somewhat shy and sometimes withdrawn, unless she was under the influence of enough alcohol, which was reportedly the case when she met former naval pilot Doug Benefield at a business conference.
Business conference?
Which was reportedly the case when she met former naval pilot Doug Benefield at a business conference and broke the ice by revealing she had a concealed firearm tucked into her bra. Despite a 30-year age gap, they seemed to fall quickly in love.
Oh my God, bro. Okay, I mean, guys, there's stuff like $30-year gap is wild. I mean, like, my parents are like 8 years apart, but they met when they were like 30s. Like in their 30s, to where that, like, that's like, yeah, I was about to say, this girl is probably 20. I don't even know if she's 30. She might be around my age. So this 40, 50-year-old man is like,
and got married 14 days later. They then launched the American National Ballet together, which tucked into her bra. Despite a 30-year age gap, they seemed to fall quickly in love and got married 14 days later. Year age gap, they seemed to fall quickly in love and got married 14 days later.
This shit did not stay in Vegas.
That's insane. I don't know who's more unhinged. The boomer cradle robbing or the woman whose icebreaker was, I have a gun between my boobs? What do you think?
They then launched the American National Ballet together, which Ashley conceptualized hoping to create a worldwide organization. But the company failed to get investors and dissolved quickly thereafter. Ashley then filed for divorce, but was already pregnant with their daughter. So they then had to co-parent together over the following 2.5 years, which created considerable tension, culminating in Ashley shooting Doug in the leg and chest when he was visiting her mother's house.
There's more. Okay, hold on. Thanks for the sub. You sort of overlap the critical crime information, because, like, once again, it's gotten worse somehow.
After Ashley then filed for divorce, but was
married 2 weeks after meeting a man, 30-year age gap, tried to launch a company, worldwide ballet, whatever, didn't go well, filed for divorce, but
was already pregnant with their daughter. So they then had to co-parent together over the following 2.5 years, which created considerable tension, culminating in Ashley shooting Doug in the leg and chest when he was visiting her mother's house. She then ran to the neighbors, claiming that Doug had attacked her and that she had been forced to shoot him. Then she called her attorney, who accompanied her to the police station and informed investigators that she would not be providing a statement.
I am late. I was making a smoothie. What the fuck?
Okay, Ashley, I'm Detective Flonzinski with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit. I know that we haven't talked yet, and we're not going to be taking a statement from you. That's fine.
Is that her lawyer with her?
Okay. And your attorney's here. I'm going to give it a copy to both of you so you guys can read it. But
Whoa. This is crazy. Wait, this is crazy. We're watching something where the person showed up with a lawyer and is not wanting to say anything.
I'm going to actually read it to you first. But no one can stop this process, just so you know, because it is a search warrant. All right? You can't refuse it. If you do refuse it, there's actually a charge for that. It's called obstruction to a search warrant.
True.
All right, we're going to stop recording?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you all right?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just worried for her. She hasn't eaten anything all day or anything like that.
Do you want me to get you something?
No, I don't think she can eat. She hasn't been able to eat, so. But no,
How can I make her more comfortable?
No, she's fine.
Okay. I mean, the last thing I want her to do is feel like, you know, she's going to pass out, or if I can make her more comfortable. Ashley, I understand that, you know, you're not supposed to be talking to me, but you can tell your attorney I'm hungry or thirsty or something, and I will get you whatever you wanted. Aspirin. I rushed and got you aspirin. I know that I'm supposed to be the bad guy in this situation to you. I'm not trying to be the bad guy, and I don't want to be the bad guy. If I can help you, please tell me how I can help you, okay? This is teamwork as far as I'm concerned. I want to get the truth, and you want me to know the truth.
Police would find no evidence to support her case for self-defense. There were no signs of a struggle, and nothing to indicate that Doug had attacked her prior to the shooting. She was charged with second-degree murder, then released on $100,000 bond awaiting trial. It began on July 23, 2024.
Do you have any hobbies?
I love art. I like drawing, painting, sculpting, ballet.
Good to know the cream of the crop was at Trump's inauguration, as always.
I enjoy gardening, baking, cooking. Most importantly, I'm a mom.
I want to ask you about Doug.
Oh, hold on, my dog's freaking out. Getting so worked up because my wife is outside. Invisible. Don't you bark. Don't you bark out my window, bud. We're going to have problems. We're going to have some problems if you do that.
When did the two of you meet?
We met August 25th of 2016.
Did he turn out to be who you thought he was?
No, not at all.
I want to direct your attention, Ashley,
almost like you only knew him for 2 weeks,
to the day of the homicide, September 27, 2020. Specifically, late in the afternoon, would you tell us why Doug was at your home?
He came over to help load some of the larger items that my mom and I had kind of pre-staged in the garage into the U-Haul truck. We started getting into a back and forth about being done for the day and what still needed to be packed and that I wanted to be done. And we ended up in our daughter's bedroom, and he started screaming at me. He said, "Shut the fuck up."
Did you take any steps to try to avoid anything further?
Yes, I ran to try to leave the house.
He stops her from leaving, so she runs upstairs.
Where?
To my room.
Why?
Because I was scared.
She grabs one of the 2 guns she had in her bedroom.
And what do you see, Ashley, when you look up?
Doug was standing in the doorway. His face was red. Like the veins were bulging in his neck. His eyes were black.
Does he yell anything at you?
He said,
eyes
"You're
were
fucking
black.
done."
At that point, Ashley, what are you thinking?
I thought he was gonna kill me. If I wore the wrong thing, he would call me a whore or a slut. I feel like I couldn't do anything right.
Prime time
I feel like
isn't
I'd made
complete
really
without a
big
boomer
mistake
interruption.
marrying him. Sometimes he would drive really scary, yelling and screaming at me and like running up on curbs. One time he almost hit a tree.
I would like to just start with a couple of issues.
Cross-examination, okay.
So Doug had a vasectomy removal in April of 2017, right?
Yes.
And you paid for that?
Part of it went on my debit card or my credit card.
And your intention was to get pregnant?
Yes, we had talked about that, yeah.
During this time, you said he had started criticizing you, right? About the way you looked, your clothes, the way you acted. He was, according to you, he flipped a table, tried to flip a table, threw a chair, right?
Yes.
He would scream at you.
Yes.
He would call you slut and whore.
Yes.
And you want a baby.
What you're seeing here is known as strategic insinuation, where tone and rhetorical framing are used to undermine credibility. This is especially effective when paired with nonverbal cues, such as the look the prosecutor is now giving the defendant. She is not allowed to speculate, nor accuse the defendant until her closing statement, so this is her way of doing both without technically breaking any rules.
I mean, yeah, we were married, we wanted a family.
Okay.
And here we have the infamous microtransgression. Here's another one.
In fact, during this time in South Carolina, you never worked, did you?
He wouldn't let me work.
Okay.
As you can tell, the way she says okay isn't neutral. It's laced with skepticism and condescension, conveying the subtext of disbelief without saying the words.
It's a way to kind of, he said it pretty much perfect. It's a way to discredit. I mean, it can be used for the right or the wrong reasons. I mean, this is like both sides of the courtroom can use such a tactic, but yeah, I don't really know. I don't know how this plays out, and I don't even know like if evidence is stacked against her, or I mean, the police didn't find any, but it's not like the police are like the best at finding evidence. They historically pretend they don't sometimes. So, I'm curious where this goes. We'll see.
Are you scared here of Doug?
No, I would not say no.
You said on direct examination that around this time you were living the nightmare. Those were your words, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you living the nightmare here?
Oh, no, not at that moment, no. That was a very nice day.
How about at this moment?
Oh, it was a good day.
And States 102 at this moment?
Same, it was a good day.
Is that her wedding?
Things were really good, and other times they weren't.
Okay.
I wasn't going to disagree with him in front of anybody.
Okay. So I want to get to the night that all this happened. So you knew Doug was coming over.
Yes.
You invited him over.
Yes.
He's
to help
freaking
move
out.
Stuff
I
in the
don't
house.
know what he's freaking out about.
Specifically stuff in the garage, but yes.
And you thought he was going to kill you.
He wouldn't let me leave. I tried to leave. He stopped me.
The question is, you thought he was going to kill you.
Yeah.
Where was your firearm?
It was in the bin on top of the basket.
Okay. And that was not your only firearm in that room, correct?
Been on the basket.
Correct.
You had a firearm in the closet.
My carry gun was in my backpack, which is my
Just
purse
1
at the
month now
time.
till 5 years. Hope everyone
Judge,
is
if I
doing
could have
well.
her step down so she can demonstrate.
You may.
So Doug opens the door and does what?
Oh, this is big. I can't believe they're letting her do this. I'm shocked that the defense is letting her make her reenact it. Why? Because they can take this and then use the evidence that they found and be like, that's not what the evidence says. They can directly contradict her story by what she's showing and saying right now.
He said, "You're fucking done." And I held the gun out in front of me and said, "Stop." We got into this like fighting spot. We literally like turned sideways. And he was like moving around with his like arms in his hands. And he started like inching forward towards me.
So he's standing there. He turns to like this and starts moving his arms around.
I'm like that.
Well, show me. What was he doing?
And like I really got like this, and he was like making like fighting motions. I don't know. I'm not a fighter. I don't know.
Okay.
It was scary.
Did he have his hands in fists?
Not at that point. They were like, I don't know.
So you start shooting, and he falls down on his back.
His legs went up in the air.
Okay, where do his legs go?
In the air.
How high in the air?
I don't know.
And were you still shooting at the time?
I don't remember.
He was waving his arms around, so I started blasting. It's a crazy way to put that.
You can have a seat.
All right, the verdict appears to be in proper form. Madam Clerk, would you please publish the verdict?
We, the jury, finds as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is guilty of manslaughter, a lesser included offense. Jury number 15, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes.
Members of the jury, I want to thank you for your time and consideration in this case. I always ask, though, is there anybody that I haven't heard from, any testimony I didn't hear, any evidence that I didn't hear, anything at all that I need to know to make a fair decision in this matter?
Your Honor, Ms. Benefield feels that I've spoken for her.
Excellent.
We're somehow getting the sense that Ashley doesn't quite share the same sentiment.
All right.
Ashley is about to realize the judge isn't cutting to the chase and will instead drag out the process with pre-sentencing remarks. It's such a fascinating moment because it's at the very last stage of where she knows she is being watched, and a time where you really don't want to be visibly annoyed at the judge.
All right, so the first thing we need to do is talk about the score sheet to start from. My ultimate conclusion, Ms. Benefield, is that this is not a downward departure case. So with that said, the sentence of the court will be as follows.
That means they'll do the
I'm going
default
to sentence you
sentencing.
to 20 years in Florida State Prison. That's to be followed by 10 years of probation. You must initially report to the Bradenton Department of Corrections. We'll be able to provide you a map of where that is.
This is Ashley Benefield's latest mugshot. Her earliest release date is in December of 2041. We'll now take you back to Amber's interrogation.
I really didn't want to deal with people outside. Okay. So once he got outside,
It's an interesting contrast here because this makes me feel like she is the victim here. Because I don't know, he crafts things so well. He crafts things so well with this sort of stuff. Because do you guys remember the video a couple of years ago? I don't even know if it's still up because he gets attacked with copyright or takedowns so often. I don't think it is. This one. Oh, you can't see it. This one. Guilty until proven innocent is a great JCS video, and it's basically set up almost exactly the same. Excuse me. Except about, I don't want to spoil it. basically the reactions to this guy's reactions very cold. This guy's
I never went in that girl's house. None of that shit. I didn't do.
This guy's reaction's very hot. You should watch this if you haven't. It's a really good one. It's basically going over similar where it's like this person's acting the opposite, but they might have similarities either in guilt or in experience. It's a really good video. And I'm kind of thinking that this is where it's setting it up to be, and I'm excited.
You know, so he slammed against the doors up and he opens the door and he goes outside and he starts running, and then once he gets across the street I see him pull his head up like this, or maybe his head falls, and then he like walks and sits down over by the guard.
Did we react to that one? I'm pretty sure I did a while ago.
Like starting to laugh, you know, and then the guard kicks me, and they're calling me, they're cursing at me, and so I just go back into the place, and I get the keys.
See, now that's where I have to ask you a question, because we had 4 witnesses on scene that said they saw you go up to him and slice his throat. So what happened with that? Was he doing something that made you perform that action, or what happened with that?
Hello?
He kept grabbing at me, and he was like trying to like get me to like I don't know, like be brought down to his level.
Okay.
I no.
I still want to get back.
We might get an antithesis here of,
so that's
of
what I
two
wanna get
people
into.
behaving
Is that how he
very
ended up- 'cause he has
opposite
it on
but
film.
are very guilty.
Okay, and they saw you
Interesting.
literally leaving within seconds behind him, following him.
These are 2 separate people. He showed Amber, or this is Amber. He showed Amber originally to show how like all over the place she was about her interrogation, right? And was like, this is not a hard thing to analyze. You guys see what's going on. Let's look at a different case. And then there was an aside where we looked at Ashley's case, and now we're back to Amber.
And they identified you, which is how we knew it was you.
I couldn't let him just stay like that, you know? I was like, I felt bad.
Stay like what?
Like just in a state of just like blood spilling from his mouth.
Is that after you cut his neck?
No.
She cut it.
Before you cut his neck?
Yeah.
Okay. So before, when he was crawling out of the door and you were following behind him, was he saying anything to you?
He wasn't crawling, he was standing.
Okay, so he was standing and he was running towards somebody outside. And you were behind him. What were you saying to him as you were running behind him?
I just kept saying things like, can you please stop? He broke an aerosol can inside of the place by just chucking it at the bed. And it blew up everywhere.
Okay.
And then he like threw a bunch of, he kicked a box of like really
Casually
sharp,
admits to slicing
like,
somebody's throat open, by the way. Really glossing over that.
At me while I was sleeping.
Okay.
And he's done things like played around with knives, like really scarily. And I just had more and more of a reason to just be upset.
Execute him?
Or to be on edge.
Okay.
That's really what I mean.
Let me get this right. He's in the house playing around with the gun and he supposedly points it at you. You manage to get it out of his hand.
He does, yes.
And then fire it at his head. At this time, he's now on his butt at the front door. Is that where everything kind of happened?
Yeah, I was sleeping there with my head against the door on the futon. And so when he approached me, that all happened. And then he sat back. And then he got up.
Okay.
After getting shot in the face.
Okay.
He was like screaming on the trip, and he was like, "You're ruining this for me."
I finally made
and
it to crime time.
I don't understand
Hope you're
what I
doing
did wrong.
good,
Like, I
fat
was just
man.
laying on the couch and trying to go to sleep. I'm trying to look cute, you know, like with your little like bear blanket or whatever.
So now, once he's on the ground after he's shot, then what?
He gets up. He goes and slams his body up against the door.
Okay.
He opens the door. He runs outside.
But I thought you said you stabbed him again before he ran out.
I didn't stab him. I cut him.
Okay, so you cut him before he ran out.
Casually pointing out an inconsistency in the second run through of the witness testimony. Very smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you cut his throat before he ran out or after?
Before and after.
And then at what point did he get this?
She cut his throat twice?
That was just a larger one, after I followed him, and
But why that one?
What should I say?
What should you say? What happened?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh Bad time to take a drink. Wow. Okay, hold on. Replay that.
After I followed him, and
But why that one?
What should I say?
What should you say? What happened?
What should I say? What happened is awesome. That's so funny. He is so upset.
Of course.
Yeah.
Boomer is so
why
upset right now.
that cut here? It was trying to send a statement.
Asking the
to him?
cop
No,
what you should say in an interrogation room is
statement or
hilarious.
anything. I was just looking to do whatever it took to get him down.
Okay, because now what I'm understanding is he's trying to separate himself from you and go and get help, and you're following behind him with the knife.
No, I didn't do that. I definitely sent him out there with a cut. I didn't follow him and then like slit him throat to throat, like I mean ear to ear. That was just what existed. I was running on adrenaline.
I could imagine.
And that was just not, it wasn't okay, and it wasn't okay to do in public.
What does that mean?
But I didn't pull his head back or anything.
So how did you do it? Like,
well, the same way that you would normally do it.
Now, you know, I may have been missing out on some joys of life. I don't particularly remember cutting anybody's neck normally in any capacity. I don't really remember doing that at any point in my life, so I'm not really sure what she means by how you would normally do it. That is a pretty crazy way to state how you sliced someone's neck open. Like, once again, just to reiterate, she is saying, she's describing how she cut somebody's neck open as how you would normally do it. That's not normal, but okay.
when he ran out of the house, how far away were you behind him?
Maybe it's because I'm neurodivergent. Maybe
you
normal brain people be slicing necks open. Who knows?
And I didn't want him to go out into the street or anything.
Okay, why not?
He's
Because
calm.
he was
Look at
just
him.
a
He's calmed
mess.
down.
He
Look at
was,
him.
Like,
did you just not want people to see what happened, or?
yeah, I mean, it was just scary.
Okay.
And Blake talks to the neighbors all the time, and so he's a huge ass kisser, and like he just like does that, and there's nothing wrong with it, but he'll like invite them in and like get screwed up with them, and like
You'll have
screwed up how?
like he'll just give them alcohol or drugs, or they'll give
He'll
them
hang out with
drugs.
his
I watched
neighbors.
this when it
Have
came
you ever
out and
witnessed him
knew
doing
it would be a
drugs?
great
Yeah.
prime time
So have
react
you done
kick.
drugs with him?
No.
Ever? Before rehab?
No.
Surely they won't find any drugs in her system, chat, right?
Okay.
You wouldn't need a PhD to recognize that Amber is on something right now besides the Gatorade. And on that note, allow us to introduce you to our next subject. This is 19-year-old Erin Moffat, who recently strangled her own mother to death with an extension cord while coming down off crystal meth. She and her boyfriend then buried her body in an abandoned oil field. Her mother's landlord reported her missing 21 days later, at which point Erin was asked to come in for questioning.
3 weeks later. Cool landlord, dude.
What we're trying to do is just trying to get a timeline.
Right.
Okay, so I want to start back with what time, when did you move in with your mom again?
Oh, wow.
How long ago was that?
She had been living with her mom for 2 weeks.
When did you realize that your mom was missing?
I got out of jail on the 5th.
Oh wait, that's right. You
Yeah,
were
I came
arrested
home.
on...
She was arrested for possession of cocaine roughly 10 hours after the murder. The detective now takes her to the moment she was released 2 days later.
Okay, when did you get out of jail?
2:30 a.m. and took a taxi home.
Oh my goodness. This girl's 19.
And everything was fine. I figured, you know, I just went
That's
to my room.
ridiculous,
Okay, so when did you
bro.
discover that your mom was
The
missing?
next morning.
September 6th? How did you determine that she was missing?
Because I'm nosy, and I mean, the car's there. My mom does this right here, that trips me out more than anything. Like, I'm freaking out behind her car, and I looked through her, she has this little blue bag, and I looked through it, her wallet was there, all her identification, down to her pills, I mean.
I was about to say, she does not look 19, it's
her money.
probably from the drugs.
And I
She
know
stole
my
it and
mom
bought
hasn't had
cocaine. Yeah, very likely. She likely had to move in with her mom because she was doing so much meth and was running out of money, and moved in order to have easy access to things to steal, which is a very common problem when it comes to a drug addict. Unfortunately, it is a very, you know, everybody's free to live their own lives, but it's not a great idea to have somebody who's addicted to a drug move in with you, because they will steal things. They will just start to steal things, unfortunately, because they're addicted. So they need it by any means necessary, even if that means crossing family. How much do you want to bet it was over an argument about her drug habits or stealing for her drug habits? I guarantee it.
Please. Because rent is due, like the rent was due, and I ended up having to pay the rent, and I knew she had to have at least money for the rent. Me and my mom, I love her, I do, I really love my mother, but it's a very distant thing. Like, I keep myself very closed off because I have to be that way with her. If I'm not, she will literally, like, there's days when I won't even answer my phone, you know, because she's just crazy with it. She calls me constantly.
So, hold on a second. Did you have money for your bond, or did you have someone bond you out?
I had money for it.
Where'd you go when you got out of jail on the 5th?
I came home. That's when I came home. And I went in the house, and she wasn't there. And that really sucked. I'm really upset, because my mom, last conversation I had with her was about drugs.
Pretty great alibi, getting arrested for a different crime.
I want my mom to be okay. I always say
urethra!
That, but people hear it, you know, and they're like, why do you always say that? I have a horrible, horrible feeling.
Yeah.
Horrible feeling.
What do you mean?
Because, I mean, look at people who do drugs, you know? My mom, all it would take, you have no idea what this on her, oh my God. Like,
what do you mean?
Her mouth is horrible. She talks so much crap, like threatening, like I'm gonna shoot you crap, like horrible stuff. And I always told her, Mama, you're gonna handle somebody the way you handle me, and they're not gonna be like me. I love you, I'm your daughter. I understand you're crazy. Other people aren't gonna understand that. And somebody's gonna hurt you. And she don't realize, she thinks she's Superman, you know? She thinks she can talk to anybody and everybody however she wants to.
It's the person who got arrested
Believe
for
me, she
doing
handles a
drugs
whole
that
lot
make
of
you
people
feel like
badly
you're
now.
Superman.
And that's what scares me. And I always, you know, she's always said, you know, she's
Oh, it's so ironic.
in trouble. And when you're high and you're hanging out with high people and you talk crap, you
She knows a whole lot about drugs and drug conversations for somebody who's definitely not doing and on it. Haha.
get beat on. I mean, I've seen it. You know, I've been through things. So, I mean, I've seen horrible things.
Urethra's not on the
happen
screen.
in
I don't know,
drugs.
chat. I'll refresh it later and hope.
Where do you think your mom is now? If we had to go look for her, where should we go look?
If I knew I'd be there. God,
You don't have any idea?
I have no clue. That's why I feel so bad. That
Where
I
could she have
can't-
gone if she had just walked out the door? Because she didn't take her car or anything else. Where could she have just walked to? If she were to walk
I
somewhere.
don't ever walk anywhere out here. Like, that's out of the question.
You don't have any idea where she could have just walked to?
I don't think my mom just walked. I don't know. It could have been. I don't know who she knows. That's the problem. I don't keep up with her like that. And I wish to God I would have paid more attention now.
You think someone came to pick her up?
It's possible. I mean, anything's possible right now. It's like, I know that that's my mom. I want my mom. It's like, I know when I lay down, like, I want my mom because she's my mom. Like, this is crazy.
So you don't.
There's something real happening here, perhaps emotional pain. She will quickly bury her face in her hands and shut the emotion down.
have any, I mean, you don't think she's anywhere near the home or anything like that?
I have no clue. I'm like space cadet over here in space.
Pretty weird.
Did you tell?
Did they know it was already her? I'm gonna guess based on her history, yes, because one, the usual suspects of somebody missing or murdered are the people closest, especially a spouse or family, and at the same time, she has prior arrests for drug problems, and the police have enough knowledge on drug addiction and how that affects a person's behavior towards family and towards everybody in order to continue that addiction. So I think the police probably have a pretty good idea right now. Yeah.
What's disturbing to some of the family members?
Please let me know.
Did you tell Dina? Did you speak to Dina on a phone a few days ago?
I talked to her last night. I talk to her every now and then.
Probably over the weekend, something like that.
It's possible. Every conversation up until, I don't know which one you're talking about. I really don't remember talking to her crazy except for last night. I didn't really talk. I was respectful, but still probably rude. And
Okay, how about this? Did you ever use the word shovel and your mom in the same sentence when you were speaking to Dina?
Oh, yes, I did. She said, why don't you go look for her? And I said, well, what do you want me to do? Grab a shovel?
Okay.
Because, and I'm sorry, but I'm very unemotional.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Nobody said she's dead. Nobody said she was dead. Nobody said she was buried anywhere, miss. Ooh!
I'm very, very closed off. And
So do you think that your mom is dead?
when I tell you I have a bad feeling, I'm not kidding.
So you have no idea where she's at?
I have a hunch.
Do you suspect that she's in the ground somewhere?
No, I mean, I'm not sure, but I mean, I'm saying, like, you know, people, I'm telling her, I told Dina, y'all don't know her the way I know her. I'm such a, oh, my heart's so screwed up, like, I can't. I won't
You're
accept the worst and
19.
get over it because that's it.
Was your mom depressed?
My mom's psychologically
19-year-old
screwed.
says that she's messed up.
Okay.
Local fetus says they're complicated. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, probably doing meth and cocaine at 19 probably does make things a little complicated. But also a very 19-year-old thing to say, be like, I'm just so complex. I'm so complex, babe. You don't understand. I have so much emotion. I have so many thoughts. Oh.
Yeah, this is a little bit cold in here. I'll be right back, okay?
Yeah, very edgelord. My twisted mind. The machinations of my brain.
When police searched her mom's trailer, they discovered a missing
Dog.
carpet,
Oh,
blood
dog.
underneath the rug, and a power cord lying right next to where the blood was found. They called Aaron's now ex-boyfriend to
3
come in
months.
multiple times for questioning. He would turn up at the police station on the exact day they were set to conduct Aaron's second interview. It had been 28 days since the murder.
Okay.
Change your mind. You want a drink? Just
She
let me know.
left the murder weapon there.
Okay, Corey.
He's
State your name for the record for
He's
me,
gonna throw
please.
her under the
Michael
bus.
Corey
Here we
Lewis.
go.
Michael Corey Lewis. I'm glad that we finally got a chance to meet up. Before we begin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you your statement of Miranda rights, okay? You know what that is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so as we've spoken...
Guys, I have no aspirations to be a cop, but I would absolutely love to be an interrogator, just permanent. Like, I would just love to do this job. I just think it would be fun. Not in like a way that it's like, ha ha ha, flowers, but like, it would just be fascinating. It would be fascinating the people that you get to talk to, you know what I mean? It's like such an interesting way to people watch. I would definitely like, it would be fun. It would definitely be very fun.
On the phone a couple times, and as you know, what we're trying to do is establish a timeline for.
Unfortunately, it requires being a cop,
disappearance.
so.
Who's that? Her mom?
Yeah, Shannon.
Okay.
You may know her as Shannon. Is that correct? Ashland's.
I don't remember her name on there twice.
Okay, Ashland's mom.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're familiar with Ashland.
Yes,
or,
sir.
Or Aaron, right?
Aaron.
Moffett. Okay, so you've met her mom twice. Her name is Jana Shannon Moffett.
Okay.
Okay. So when did you, on the 2nd, because we're talking about, she was arrested at about 2:30 in the morning in Friendswood on the 3rd.
Black Hawk and 528.
Right. Okay, so you remember that?
Yes, sir.
You got that time frame in your head? You remember when that was?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take me 12 hours prior to that.
I was at my trailer.
And describe to me each hour of that day.
He claims he was in his trailer for the entire day until he picked up Aaron at 11 p.m. to
Very
drive to
smart.
Friendswood. Jana
I've got no alibi. Besides myself, I was in my house doing nothing. No alibi. Trust. Smile.
had been dead for roughly 10 hours at this point.
Were y'all going to get dope or what?
I believe she was.
Okay. What was her frame of mind then? Meaning, how was she acting? Was she?
Well, she had a big bottle of pills, which Xanax. It was like blue pills. I don't even know.
I mean, was she acting different?
Yeah, she was on something.
She was on something.
Definitely. Well, when is she not?
The Xanax going crazy.
Did Jana ever, or did Ashlyn ever tell you that Jana was missing?
Yeah, whenever she got home.
When she got home?
When she got released, got the taxi cab to my.
What did she say about it?
My mom's gone. All her stuff's here. Her money's here. Phone, cigarettes, keys.
On the night of the 2nd, when you and Aaron went to Friendswood, did she mention anything about her mother?
Not really.
No.
This is the boyfriend of the 19-year-old, yes, or the ex-boyfriend. After about a month of getting away with murder together, they broke up apparently. Womp womp.
I mean, what did she think that happened? I mean,
I don't know. She told me that her mom's like a druggie, and she was just giving me all kinds of information.
You hate to see it. You do.
It's important to note the detectives are not certain of Corey's involvement at this point. They have no concrete evidence that can implicate himself or Aaron, so everything you're about to see is entirely a bluff.
Let's see. Do you trust Aaron?
Classic.
Ashlyn, do you trust Ashlyn to keep quiet about secrets?
I haven't told anybody any secrets. I don't keep secrets.
You think she can keep something quiet?
I haven't told anybody anything, but even if I had anything, I wouldn't be telling them because I don't have any. I don't even do that. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't tell people things even if I did have them, but I don't.
She wanted to, I guess. She's pretty good at that. She lies to me a lot, so yeah, probably.
how long have you known her?
Like I said, a couple months.
Couple months?
Maybe.
When we do this type of interview, there's certain things that we already know the answers to that we're going to ask you.
You just mentioned all her money was still there. Wait a minute.
To Friendswood? What did she say about it?
My mom's gone. All her stuff's here. Her money's here.
He did say that. Interesting. Except her interview, her wallet didn't have the money in it. Very interesting. Because she stole it, but that's a fun little inconsistency.
That we're going to ask you, just to make sure that you're being honest with us. So and I'm having I guess I got a few questions about the date on the 2nd. You said you had problems remembering dates, and yet you remember the 2nd. Why does that date?
I don't remember. Y'all told me it was the 2nd. He's told me several times she got arrested on the 2nd. And so I'm assuming it was the 2nd.
Get them, King.
Well, that's okay. So what were you doing on the 2nd?
Get them, King.
Probably woke up like at 2, like I said. And then, I don't know, she called me and said she had her mom's car.
Okay, remember, again, let me back up. This is your chance to kind of tell us what's going on.
Many of you will already know that this is your
Utility.
chance, and this is your opportunity, are pressure tactics disguised as benevolence.
The
The thing is,
futility
that doesn't work
technique.
on the suspect here. What
It's
does work
too
is
late.
what the detective says next, or more
already
specifically,
know.
how she says it.
I have no idea.
We already know what's going on, so this is your chance.
This is your opportunity. That's what you don't understand right now is we know. We know.
We know you were in the trailer that day.
We know you were there. We know about the blood on the carpet. We know about the cord. We know about the rug. We know about the trunk. We know about the ride. We know about the dump. Do you trust Aaron? We will be down there tonight. We will be speaking to her probably about 2 a.m.
I wonder if he says anything.
She will confess.
And I'm gonna be tired by then. I'm not gonna want to hear.
She killed her mom. I know she did.
Stuck a needle in her neck and she choked her with the damn cord.
We know this. Thank you. But
Obviously,
Yo,
obviously
17
that
months anniversary.
incriminating
D.
evidence we super knew. Thank you. Yes, very cool. We knew. Yep. That's the exact thing. That was the thing we were saying. We knew. Yes. Wow. Thank you for saying it out loud in an interrogation because we knew it the whole time. Thank you for saying exactly that thing that we super knew.
by you telling us this, I mean, you are doing the right thing. Do you understand?
I just wish, dude, I wish it would be like the movies where the cops would just be like,
This guy on. Anyways, 5 months, let's
I mean, I
do
know
it.
this is like a very serious thing, but I just wish the cops would be a little more whimsical. You know what I mean? It'd just be like, gotcha! Just add a little fun to life. I don't know. Everything's too serious.
That?
Make
I know
cops
you're scared.
whimsical again.
I can tell by looking at
Tired
you
of them
that you're
being
doing the right
annoying and
thing.
bastards.
I didn't want to have anything to do with it.
I have no doubt.
I miss when they just wanted donuts.
But you were there, right?
Corey, look, man.
That was never the case, by the way. They've always been bastards.
You were in Aaron's room. You guys just had sex. And her mom was, okay, help me out here because the computer is no longer there. I think Aaron calling
Right by the door.
Wait, they freaked it right after.
The
Wait.
computer is no longer there. Sex. You were in Aaron's room. You guys just had sex. And her mom was, okay, help me out here because the computer is no longer there. I think Aaron calling
Right by the door.
right when you walk in the front door to the left. Okay.
My mom's
Where the
dead.
stain is, correct?
The fuck?
Okay. Because the computer's no longer there, that's why I'm asking.
She probably pawned it.
Okay. Forgive my drawing, but we're gonna
Ridiculous.
We're gonna inside of the trailer, okay?
These are real people, man. It's crazy these people are real.
Out of the wall.
Where were you when this happened? Tell us where you were at. Did you hold her mom down?
No.
Oh, he
You
was
didn't hold her
there.
Come on, Corey. You're doing good.
Oh, okay. So
Well,
they
you're doing good.
freaked it before mom died. Okay, wait a minute. Circle back. It's fine.
I'm scared shitless, man.
I imagine.
I understand that.
I imagine. I believe you.
Hastings oil field.
Huh?
Hastings oil field.
Is that where she's at?
I mean, I imagine panic. Everybody was panicked.
Yeah, I went with it because she just fucking killed somebody.
Oh, sure.
They take him back to the moment they were both in Aaron's room, just before the murder.
And so what happened? Was she talking about what she was gonna do, or she said she was gonna go out and kill her mom?
And she did, and I stood there and watched.
What has Aaron
Not a great look, Bob.
after this? I mean,
Not a great
I'm trying
look.
to keep it covered up.
Aaron was arrested the next day and informed that Corey had already told them everything.
Aaron,
Good old futility technique.
You sign this document, okay? We're gonna keep this the way it should be,
Yeah, he did it. He did it. Oh!
and then you'll have your opportunity to talk.
But she did it.
What do you mean what you did was wrong?
Y'all said y'all put Corey in jail already.
Why don't you tell us what happened on the 2nd?
What is this fishbowl camera, dude? What's going on? Why did the quality just dip?
I can't say this shit.
You're pointing to your throat. What did you do?
I can't say it. I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah, I feel like I'm looking through the fucking door.
You know what you did.
Like the keyhole.
Tell me what you did.
Yeah, tell her. Admit it. Yeah, I'm the cadet. I'm the cadet watching from the door.
Strangled your mom.
I got angry at her and I said something stupid and Corey was like, people just feed into my negativity and if you would just shut me the hell up, I wouldn't say anything. I would be quiet, but he fucking fed into it and it makes my ego big and then
What did he tell you?
He's just like, you know, if you do it, I'll do it too, blah, 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 you know, and I was like, he just held my mom, and I did that to my mom. My mom. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me.
Did you kill your mom?
Yes.
Ooh. Bang.
I freaked
Life
the hell out
sentence.
and started crying, and I was like, I didn't know what to do, and then...
That's a first degree right there, Bob.
We can't leave my mom laying there, and...
What happened right after y'all arrived to the location?
He pulled her out and took her to where the grass was and
Yeah, I
stuff,
wonder if
and
all the
I fell,
methamphetamines and cocaine she had been taking is clouding her
He just put her
judgment.
in there, and then...
And you know, who's to say?
Do you remember what you were thinking?
I was pissed off at my mom. We're always fighting about something. It doesn't matter. It's probably her telling me she just talks all kinds of crap. And it's anger that's built up after days and days of dealing with it. And
Should we take a break?
Is it first degree? Well, it's going to be an interesting one because he's claiming that they didn't say anything about it beforehand and she just started doing it, if I remember right. And now she's saying that they were talking about it in the room beforehand and he was egging her on and also helped hold her down. So first degree is pre-planned, premeditated. Yes. First degree is only achievable if they can find a way to get the murderer to admit that they planned it, or that they found some sort of written, verbal, like, confirmation. They need, like, actual confirmation. Otherwise, it's likely always second degree, because it's easy to, I mean, you can prove that somebody killed somebody pretty substantially. That nuance of whether they intended to in advance or not is a bit harder. How far in advance is planned? About what you would expect, man. Like, I don't have a good answer for you. There's really not like a cutoff. The judge isn't like, well, it was 5 hours before, so technically that's first degree. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't really work like that. It's all nuanced within the cases that they're decided within. It's hard to say for sure, like, when it is and isn't. That's the thing. Is usually premeditation is either pretty easy to like, it's either immediately easy to prove or not very easy at all. So yeah, like if there's in any way some sort of planning, like if what she's saying is true about them in the bedroom talking about doing it and him being like, yeah, let's do it, and her being like, I'm gonna do it, like that's premeditated. That's a premeditation, even though that's minutes before it happened. That's a premeditated murder because they talked about doing it and we're like, I'm gonna do it. So it's really within the cases themselves. That's how you sort of determine whether it's premeditation or not, because it has everything to do with that person's actions prior to the murder than anything. It has nothing to do with a time frame or anything. It has everything to do with like what the person that did it did and when. So
Do you need anything?
I haven't ate, but
Are you hungry?
For what though?
I don't know.
For
Crackers or chips or
Can
something.
I have some Chick-fil-A?
We'll be right back. I'll get you some crackers. So was this his idea or your idea?
Mine.
Yours?
But he was right there with me the whole time.
What do you think should happen here? You've already said you understand what you did was wrong, correct? What do you think should happen? I mean, do you understand the severity of what's going on? You do. What typically happens in this type of scenario?
People go to prison.
Sometimes people get killed for it.
And I deserve to be in jail. I just don't.
None of this helps you, by the way, in case that's not already apparent. The police do not give a shit about murder is murder to the police. So, the alligator tears or the waterworks, they're like, well, Judge, she was bawling her eyes out while admitting to the murder, so I do think she's a little remorseful. They don't care.
Why do you feel like you deserve it?
Because look, my mom.
Then why do they ask? It's all evidence. The police's only goal and angle is to get the guy. Metaphorically speaking here, obviously. Their entire focus and goal in an interrogation in general is to get the person. They don't care about how the person acts or how the person behaves. They just want them to fucking talk. They want them to talk and screw themselves over. Or have the accomplice guide them into it, like we just saw. Like they don't care. They don't give a shit about the guy being involved. I mean, they do, but they don't. They don't know how much he was involved yet. They might not ever find out. They care more that they used him as a way to get to the actual murderer, who they probably already suspected, given they interrogated him and her and wanted to interrogate him again. So they don't really care how you behave or how you act in an interrogation, unless it's like, obviously, like, crazy and they have to, detain you or something nuts. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. They just want to see how you talk, because all of the ways that a person talks about their crime or downplays it or pushes blame, lies about it, etc., is evidence. It's evidence, and they'll hand that right to the prosecutor to throw the bars in and keep you longer. They'll slam the door shut themselves. Like, they do not want anything besides your ass in a jail cell, if they think you're the person. So they and you're not a primary suspect every time a police interrogates you. You might have seen some shit that you might need to talk about, obviously. Once again, this is kind of a nuanced thing where it's like, well, yeah, obviously there's some situations where you might have to say something or you might say nothing. It's nuanced. I can't be like, this is A, therefore act B every time. Like, it doesn't work like that. That life doesn't work like that.
You understand that you'll be charged? for homicide. Do you understand that? For killing your mom.
Quime.
I want my mom. Oh, God.
Crazy to say.
Happy Pride,
so
everyone.
Corey, he just
Caved.
Sneak crime, sneak
I want my
crime.
mom, even though I'm the one that got rid of her.
This moment is absolutely compelling because of the autonomy the interrogator has.
Almost
he can
3 years
respond in
will.
any way he chooses, or not respond at all. You may have noticed he was playing the role of the bad cop and was especially cold toward Aaron throughout the process. But for whatever reason, in this moment, he chooses empathy.
Well, he already got his answer. Like I said, I mean, like they really, their whole thing is getting the guy, you know, the phrase "get the guy," whatever. I mean, I don't know what more they need. It's totally fine. Like, it's totally expected for him to just be empathetic in this situation afterwards. Because once again, the accomplice admitted that she did it. She admitted that she did it. They literally said, you know, you're getting charged for homicide for this, for killing your mom. And she said, yes. So the case is already done. Like, they don't need any more from her, to be fair. So I totally understand him doing...
I don't think you're a monster. I think you made a terrible mistake, okay? Is this your Coke?
Yeah.
Corey Lewis was sentenced to 10 years for his role in the murder.
Hello chat. No ring pop kid law today. I just want to celebrate my last
why does
sub
the door
before
look
I
like
go into the woods to work for the summer. Sneak dance.
Why does the door look so scary?
Corey Lewis was sentenced to 10 years for his role in the murder. It could not be proven that he held the victim down. Erin Ashlyn Moffat got a 50-year prison sentence. She will be eligible for parole by the...
That's first degree, by the way. Second degree doesn't typically go to 50. That's a first degree charge easily. That's a life in prison sentence.
The time she's 44.
Alright, so I know we're skipping around here, but I was going back to
That's a crazy that's a crazy way to cut back where even the cop is saying, I know we're skipping around because that's such a funny because literally that's what we're fucking doing. We're literally skipping around in the video itself. That's so stupidly clever of him. I hate that he did that. I love that he did it. Excellent editing.
As he's running.
That's all I really remember.
As he's running, getting help. He was on his knees at this point? Because you said you walked up next to him and did this.
Yeah.
How tall is he from you? Like,
I was standing, and he was like about
Always
this
good.
tall.
Always good to reenact
Okay.
it
And then,
in the interrogation room. They certainly won't use this against her.
Like, corner parking lot guard started screaming, and then he said, "Get the fuck away from me, bitch," and like all of this like disgusting language.
Sure.
And then that's when I went to the bamboo room for help. And
now, why didn't you stay on scene if you were trying to get help? Why leave in a Monte Carlo?
I just couldn't
She
stay. I
stole
thought that I
his
was going to
car
be
and
blamed
left.
for something, because all those people, like with all of the witnesses at that time, just trying to group their story and glue it together. I don't trust that.
But why not stay and give your account of what happened? You know what I mean?
Because I knew this would happen today.
Oh my.
Knew what?
Knew that if I showed it back on scene, somebody would call or I would go to the police station. I plan on getting my stuff, giving it to my dad, putting the car back and leaving, and then calling about this.
But was he out there
maybe
during
he
that
lived
time?
in the apartment complex next door? But yeah, I think he was.
He was? Okay.
He must have been.
Isn't 20
For
plus
him
years
to have,
typically
like,
one life
seen you and,
sentence? No, it's typically 40 to 50. It's state dependent. 20 would be extremely light. It's typically 40 to 50 because this once again goes into complexities because it's like life in prison isn't technically life in prison sometimes, Life in prison without parole is life in prison. Life in prison with the possibility of parole is typically, I mean, once again, it's a little bit of state, little bit of judge's discretion, 40 to 50 years. A lot of criminals are obviously not children, besides the 19-year-old we just watched, but that's technically not an adult or not a child either. That is a child, but whatever. She's going to be out. She gets out of prison when she is 70. Like, once again, that person who killed her mom that we just watched was 19, 50-year sentence. She will be 70 when she is released if her sentence goes the whole way. I don't know if he said anything about parole or not.
What's up, freaks? It's been super long since I've tuned into a stream, but I just wanted to let you all know the good news after so much bad stuff. I am engaged and expecting, and you guys are the first to know. BC yearly chat smiles.
Double deuce! Let's go, dude. Awesome. Congrats. So, parole at age 44. Still, even if we're going to 40, up for parole when she's 44. So, she's serving a minimum of 35 years in prison. That is a 35-year sentence minimum. Yes, wait. 25. Sorry, failed the math class. That's a 25-year sentence. That's half of her sentence, all right? In case we're not aware, a 19-year-old is very different from a 44-year-old and is extremely different from a 7-year-old if she has to serve the whole time. That's where the term like life in prison goes, is because you spend quite literally a lifetime in there. You are vastly different. You will be a significantly different person by the time you get out, because it's such a length that you spend a life in prison. Like you spend decades minimum. You spend a minimum of half of a life sentence before you're eligible for parole, if I'm not mistaken. So it could be 20 to 25 years minimum, and then it's 40 to 50 maximum, or permanent, depending on how egregious, etc. How is parole decided? That once again goes into nuance of the case. It kind of is like, it depends on a few things. One, it depends on the severity of a crime, the brutalization of it, whatever. It depends on the remorse of the victim, or the remorse of the person, the suspect who did it, the accused. If they seem to care, if they seem to not care, if they seem to regret it, etc. That's probably why she was given parole, is because she clearly, she clearly had a lot going on and kind of regretted it, and wants to seek retribution, but at the same time they still killed their mom, so they should probably serve a good time for doing so. So it's like, it depends. It's up to the judge as well. The judge kind of is the ultimate decider. The jury decides guilt or not. The judge decides the length of the guilt, essentially, if that makes sense. And it depends, once again, on the cases each time. It depends on how the judge feels about the person who is guilty, how the person behaved during the trial, after the trial. Well, not after the trial, obviously, that's done. Unless there's a huge gap between trial and sentencing, which happens a lot because our justice system is very slow and needs to be faster, but it can't be because it has too much work to be done and is very flawed. We know this. So it depends on the judge, really, ultimately. The judge is the ultimate judge on sentencing length. There are parameters given with each crime, but the judge is kind of the decider in whether they should serve the default sentence, whether they should serve fully, or whether they should have parole as an option at some point. With first-degree murder, you have to serve half. I don't think I've heard of many cases where a first-degree murderer has not served half of their sentence before parole. So yeah, it really is up to the judge when it comes to this sort of how parole is given or not. And then obviously after that, it depends on their behavior within the prison and the system while they rehabilitate. Not that prisons do that very well, but it depends on their behavior within prison as well as to whether or not they'll be eligible or actually be like given parole. And then if they're denied parole, whether they're given the chance of parole again or not. It kind of like, once again, you get really like case by case dependent, because it really ultimately boils down to the suspect and their behavior during the crime, after the crime, during the trial, in prison, out of like everything. It depends on all of it. Oh my God, I need water. That was a lot of talking. Oof. Oh my God. Whew. What's the difference between parole and probation? I mean, not a lot. It's kind of the same. So okay, this is the only difference. So it's basically the same thing, but probation is not in prison. So probation is if somebody did a crime and didn't get put to jail, but they get put on probation, which means that they have a probation officer looking over them, keeping tabs on them, checking in on them, making sure that they're doing the right things. They could have an ankle monitor. Parole is after jail. So parole is if you got taken out of jail because you did a decent job in jail, whatever that can entail. And then that's your like, technically when you get out on parole, you get put on probation, but it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, but like you can get put on probation without going to jail and getting out on parole. Does that make sense? They're kind of the same thing. Parole is like the process to get out of jail to get put on probation instead of being in jail for your sentence. But you can get put on probation without going to jail depending on your crime, your history, etc. So I'm going to shut up now. I need to watch because I've been talking my ass off and my throat's really dry. So I'm going to be chugging water for a second.
Like, oh, this girl has to go to jail, and then like call police.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, he said that during
minding his own fucking business.
Did he say that during the time?
Kind of, but like I don't recall.
Oh, gotcha.
It was just a sentiment.
Were any of those knives that you had on you the one that you used to cut Blake?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
The silver one.
Okay. How many knives do you keep on you?
2.
And there were a lot of knives in that house. Are they yours? Are they
so unnecessary?
Knife collector?
Yeah.
Samurai collector?
I'm telling you, he's seriously. He gave me the samurai.
Oh,
but
samurai.
It's in the trunk of the Monte Carlo right now because I wanted to practice with it. But
where'd you go after you left?
I parked the car down the street and I just went to sleep.
Now, at any point,
is Samurai a knife brand that I'm not aware of, or does she have straight up a katana?
I just wanted to get my shit and get out. Like I'm not used to this.
It's got to be a knife brand. I cannot imagine them being like a samurai sword.
On as a witness or something, I understand. But really, I think it's clear that Blake had tried to threaten me, and I had to take action.
I guess it must be a katana. I don't think that's a knife brand. That's crazy.
And when you say done, what do you mean by that?
Just
it is a knife brand?
Away, dead?
Away.
Okay.
More you know.
What I'm trying to say is that I wasn't being like ultra aggressive
So by him bleeding, because you said you couldn't wait to see it done.
No, as in I could not stay around it without checking to see if this guy was
Maybe she means a Tonto knife.
He got
I guess that's
shot
true. Yeah.
and got up.
Okay, and then he left.
I guess there are like shorter swords and knives that samurai do carry.
You cut him again.
No. I'm not going to agree to that kind of statement.
Just said that.
My brain had been, no, I did not.
You said
no,
that
I said that my mind was fuzzy.
And that concludes the first real pushback of the interrogation, which leads us to our next two subjects.
Oh, here we go. We're moving again.
Do you mind if I keep the door closed if we actually have people walking by? And is that cool? Yes.
They don't want her to see the other victim
Katrina
or the other suspect,
who,
I bet.
according to these investigators, was the most confident suspect they've ever dealt with. She began dating a popular car salesman called Eric Samoa in May of 2012, and although he was upfront with her about seeing another woman at the time, Katrina believed, or at least hoped, that she would be the one he'd eventually choose. But early one morning, shortly after they had slept together, she discovered Eric had called the other woman while she was there. What she was unaware of, and what you will see her find out in real time, was that Eric was calling the other woman to break up with her. Katrina then waited for him to go to sleep, then shot him in the head. Eric was discovered the next day during a welfare check, and Katrina, being the last person he was texting, was asked to come in for questioning. Police would later testify that she seemed genuinely distraught when she was informed of Eric's murder.
Oh my goodness.
So you moved in the high-rise how long ago?
March 11th, I believe.
And, okay, and how'd you meet Eric?
I met Eric.
Incredibly unhinged, I agree. That's wild.
I was, I think we get off work or get in about the same time.
So don't even want to confront him about it?
It takes me a while to get home. And we're walking in, and he asked me if I was a nurse.
She talks about her work as a nurse, and they make an instant connection, seeing each other almost daily for the next 3 weeks. She then gets to the day before Eric's murder, where they were...
She was one conversation from getting what she wanted. That's crazy. Instead, she bided her time and then just murdered him. That is so sad, bro.
Spending the night at his apartment watching the basketball game, when
I
at
don't think
some
I would
point
recover
Eric
from that.
starts calling his dealer to bring him some weed.
He asked them,
that's low-key a foot and mouth moment.
Where you at? Where you at? And then he just hung up. I don't know if they hung up on him. I don't know, but...
What time do you think that caused?
That was during the second quarters.
She says she goes to sleep in Eric's bed after the game, while Eric stays in the living room.
I woke up to him talking to somebody. And it was a guy. And I don't know how he knew I was woke. Maybe I coughed or something. I don't know. But I rolled over, and he opened the bedroom door. He came in. And as he opened the door, I could see who I think is the guy from the apartment, walk by to go to the couch.
The person she just mentioned is Eric's drug dealer, who she's now trying to pin the murder on. She says she goes back to sleep, then wakes up the next morning.
It had to be right at 5. It had to be right at 5. Mm-hmm. Eric's in the bed, and I hear somebody using the bathroom. So the guy's still there, obviously. He used the bathroom. I'm a nurse, so I'm going to notice if you use the bathroom, you don't wash your hands. So use the bathroom. I didn't hear any water running afterwards.
She gets her stuff and goes to leave, and while she's walking out of the apartment, she feels someone push the door shut behind her.
And when I felt the nudge on the door, I thought it was Eric coming behind me, because he usually walks me to the door and locks the door. But
you didn't see him come up behind you, to the front?
No. I went out the
the bathroom and immediately made a right.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to see him or anything. I was just trying to leave. So I walked out the bathroom door and grabbed the front door, and as I was going out like this, my hand is pulling the door to, the door started pushing up. Somebody's trying to help me close the door, I thought it was Eric trying to come to the door, where you going? But I saw, this side of the guy, I knew it wasn't Eric, his little skinny arm. But I did put, dude almost hit me in the ass with the door when I left, LOL,
Let me see that.
Right here.
Wow, that's crazy.
This detective would later testify that he believed Katrina was innocent by this moment. The truth is that she had sent the text message after Eric was already dead. Katrina left soon after this moment. The investigators then located and arrested Eric's drug dealer. He denied ever having been inside Eric's apartment. Katrina was asked to come back in, a week after her first interview.
Hey, Trina.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Hi. Tired.
All right.
Do you have more questions?
Yeah. Do you have some time? Okay, cool.
The detectives are once again suspicious, especially this one. The main thing they're doing here is getting a read on Katrina. Her answers aren't as important to them as how she responds to this situation.
All right, so we're still like in the middle of things.
Okay.
And like I told you before, you shed so much light on Eric that we haven't gotten from a lot of people, and this will be like our only opportunity while you're here to maybe just go over the story just maybe one more time. Maybe you just remember something just.
Well, the detective for a bit. Yeah, but the detectives don't have like DNA evidence on hand unless it already got processed. So it's kind of like
more that might give us we need to arrest the
Is there
person
something
responsible.
in particular you just want to know?
What Katrina is doing here is very rare. She is confronting the unspoken tension instead of avoiding it, and
Very
dictating the
interesting,
atmosphere as
actually.
a result. She's sitting in a room with the two lead investigators for the murder she committed, telling them to cut to the chase.
That's crazy.
Everything that I said before. You can ask me anything.
Really, I think if you could kind of go through the story again over the last, I think it was like Thursdays where you started. Because we're trying to establish like everybody he talked to, was with,
Is this a camera?
place he went.
Yeah.
You guys recorded it, right?
The first one?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
We have follow-up questions from your first
Okay,
one.
well, just ask me what
Lies.
you want to know, because I don't want to go through all this again. That was a long time. I don't want to go through it all again. You can just ask me directly. I don't care. Ask me anything.
All right.
Okay.
All right, that's fine. Did he grab the door anywhere? Do you remember?
Shirley said just watch it back.
He was shutting the door.
Kind of smart. That's actually like so smart because I don't know if she knows or not, but they're trying to get her to say it differently to point out inconsistencies in her story. And she straight up like, just watch the first time I said it. That is wild.
He was touching it somewhere.
So you got out from the bedroom, through the closet, and out that way. And he came up somewhere from the living room area, and we on the way touched the door. All right.
Do you remember any phone calls he made, like say after midnight that night? Because there's a couple like unknown numbers that we're trying to figure out who they were. Yeah. And
I went to sleep after sex, so he might have been up on the phone. I have no idea.
Okay.
The last thing they do is bring her photographs of Eric's apartment to see if anything is out of place or missing.
So when did it sink in?
Last night.
Really? You're pretty much numb on all day yesterday.
Yep. Very tired now.
I know the feeling. We've been pretty much working around the clock for about a week now.
She doesn't see anything worth mentioning in the photographs.
Think he was the one?
Eric, do I think he was the one for me? Actually,
Doesn't even know. That's crazy.
but he was trying to convince me that he was the one.
Really?
That's why I was like, I don't know. I mean, we got closer and closer. We were very close. But I knew he was a ladies' man. I knew he was a ladies' man.
Katrina left the interrogation room, and the case went cold for over a year.
Wow.
Then, out of sheer luck, a gun was found in a ditch roughly 2 miles from Eric's apartment, and ballistic testing confirmed it was the murder weapon that killed him. The gun was then traced to its last owner, who was Katrina Ben. She was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, then interrogated by the same detectives a week later. She was unaware of the evidence they had against her, and their first question was if she had a gun. She said she did, but couldn't remember the last time she saw it.
Well, wouldn't you agree that it's pretty important to know where your gun is?
It is. I totally agree. But I don't want to make up any stories. I've learned when I try to make up stuff, it just doesn't.
So then,
it's in my possession.
where did you originally obtain the gun?
At a pawn shop.
Where?
Columbia, Mississippi.
She actually could have gotten away with it. That's wild.
2003 when I had the stalker. 2003, 2004. A long time
Except
ago.
she used
Hey, pretty quick.
a
Right.
gun with
You good.
her details on it.
Trina, you are good. I'm telling you. It's easy to tell the truth. We found a gun. Okay? Oh, and you know where we found the gun. Okay, and this is what it's going to come down to, okay? Okay. You can continue to go through this as you didn't tell Eric, or nothing happened between. No, absolutely did not. Okay, let me tell you how it would look like too. You see how bad that looks? It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, well, let me tell you this. You don't think this is your gun? You think I'm just like making it up? I mean, I really and honestly do. Okay. So I don't know, how would anybody have my gun? Nobody did have your gun. You had your gun. Okay. And it was you. Trina, let me tell you. I mean, there's not just that. I respect you doing your job. I do. Your gun, the gun that's registered.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying the same thing. Nobody had your gun. It was you. I mean, yeah, they're both.
That alone. There's not. I'm sorry. We have no doubt saying that you think I'm good and I'm smart. What else did you learn about him that night? That's it. Eric's an awesome man. Did you hear? I absolutely miss him. Did you hear him arguing with his girlfriend? Oh no. No. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Bombshell.
What about the other women? Why would he argue with his girlfriend? I don't know. I didn't even know he had a girlfriend. But he was talking to her on the phone while we were with him. One of you said he called a girl at 2 in the morning or something like that. He was actually breaking up with her on the phone.
You'd be forgiven for thinking this moment belonged in an ancient poem or a Greek tragedy, but unfortunately, it's a true story with a real victim.
Yeah.
Bombed her.
That wouldn't upset me. No? No. Well, did he ever do anything that upset you? No, never. Eric was absolutely amazing, and I wish I would have known how he really felt. I wish I would have believed him. You know, when he told me he was in love with me. Did you tell us before that he tried to? Did you guys have an argument? No,
that was probably genuine.
Argue with me. I would rather sit here and say, "Oh, you think I did it?" Well, he, I don't know, stole from me or killed my father or something. Eric did nothing. He did nothing. I can't even make anything up. Eric did nothing. So what would your best explanation be as to how your gun was used to kill him and you were the last person? I have no idea. I have no idea. All right, then you are going to go down, like in 5 years I've been doing homicide as the most cold-blooded person I've ever had to deal with. Let's go.
Katrina Ben was found guilty of first-degree murder at trial. She was then sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
I can't believe it.
Katrina's level of confidence and composure under certain moments of pressure is what makes her a very unique case study. So in keeping with the structure of this video, our next subject will be very different.
Right here. I think they're going to bring him down this way. Okay.
I love it. I love how I love the compare and contrast videos because I love seeing such an anomaly like that because you usually don't see people like that who are so smart about an interrogation. You know what I mean? So smart, like know exactly how to work the police. So I can't wait to see this. Also, what the hell is going on here? Why is there a couch? Why is it too big for this room? And it's basically like in the way of the door. Why is there an interrogation sofa? I've got to use the bathroom from all the water I was drinking and get more coffee. So I'm going to take the time for a little stretchy break because it's been 2 hours and I haven't left this chair. So before we get into this case, which is probably the last case before we hear about what happens to Amber, she's probably guilty, we're going to take a quick break. Be right back. Yes, sir. That wasn't me. I didn't do that.
The giant horse con.
All right, I'm going to start the video back up.
Okay, well, I need him to be here now. I saw my father's car outside, and I'm not really sure why.
Crime.
Your father's car? Yeah.
He's safe right now.
Who is he with? He's going to be with an officer right now. So, okay, because the previous officer that I spoke to on the phone said that he was with my sister, and she doesn't have custody of him either, because she's not his guardian. Okay.
Custody.
So I need to know where my kid is, and I need to know what's happening, because nobody's telling me anything. Okay.
Kid? I thought she said her father.
I don't know what's happening either. I just got here as well. I was just told come walk you in, so I'm sure they're bringing somebody down. We're going to tell you what's going to happen. Do you want to take a seat for a second? You can stay standing if you'd like, but...
This is 26-year-old Devin Schreiner, who 5 hours and 7 minutes prior to this moment shot her ex-boyfriend, Jason Schaefer, 3 times while he was on his postal route. The reason she did this was because she found out that Jason had filed for increased custody of their 5-year-old son and had started dating her own sister within the same week. Devin is herself a postal worker, so she thought that by leaving her postal scanner 20 miles from the crime scene, she would have a simple alibi, that she was at work during the time of the shooting. The issue is that she underestimated how easily her movements could be tracked, as
crazy.
her own vehicle was caught on CCTV just a few blocks from the crime scene, identified by a missing hubcap on the passenger side. She was also captured on multiple cameras running back to her car from the shooting. Now what you just saw, as Devin entered this interrogation room, is her entire strategy. She will lean into this emotional front of supposed anger over her son being taken out of school without her permission, which on paper seems very cunning, because it's far from the typical demeanor of a guilty suspect walking into a police station, and in theory, would change the entire dynamic of her interrogation. But you'll notice that it doesn't quite have the desired effect.
Okay. Where is my son?
He is at the police department and he is safe with
So he's not here?
This is the police department. He is here.
Okay, well, why is he not here with me? I need him to be here with me. I haven't seen him and I don't know what's happened. He was taken from his school without my knowledge or consent.
Can I have the detective talk to you first and he'll explain what's going on? Okay, he's here right now, so we'll figure it out.
All right.
What a transition.
I mean, I don't really care. I want my son.
The reason that...
All right. Thank you.
What a vibe. I want my child. I want my child. No, hello, everybody. Ready to interrogate a murder.
Mind if I shut the door for private?
I mean, I don't really care. I want my son.
The reason that Devin's strategy is about to fall apart has everything to do with this detective, because he basically doesn't give a damn. He clearly feels that he already has enough evidence to close out the case,
He probably
and will
does.
communicate almost exclusively with sarcasm and passive aggression.
No way.
You're about to see him blatantly accuse Devin a total of 7 times
Oh my
over the course
God.
of this footage.
Oh, I'm
Yet
so
instead
excited.
of confronting the elephant in the room, as we saw with Katrina, Devin will avoid it at all costs, and cling on to this feigned state of annoyance as her escape route, each and every time, and it's absolutely fascinating to watch.
Where is my son?
I'll tell you everything. How about that?
What is this camera?
You're Devin?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes.
I'm Steve. You can call me Steve. You gotta kind of step back here.
Steve.
I'm gonna tell you some bad news. Your ex-boyfriend, is it? Ex-husband?
I just call him my son's dad.
Son's dead.
We weren't ever married, but...
He died today.
What? How? What happened?
Someone shot him in the face.
In the face? Where?
On his postal route.
He was working today? He doesn't...
Aw, jeez.
Yeah, he was working, and someone came up and shot him.
When did this happen?
12:32 today.
What? How did, what, when? Oh! You're watching Disney Channel.
It is 6 o'clock.
Yeah, because the case is so serious, I don't want to do anything to violate your rights, anything like that. So everyone that
My rights and my son's rights were violated when you took him from school and did not contact me.
Yeah.
Not true.
That's what I want to talk to you about. So let me read you.
Not true, by the way.
Have you ever seen cop shows?
Yeah.
They're on like every night. And these are the same rights. I'm going to read them to you, although you probably know them. Maybe see. So let me read them to you. Can I still call you Devin, right?
Yes.
All right, Devin, let's get through this. Devin, you have the right to remain silent. So I'm going to talk to you about this case.
I need to see my son.
We need to figure out what's going on and how your husband, how your baby's father died. And I don't want to turn over the
Didn't even acknowledge it. That's awesome.
everything's legit and that you're calm and that you're rational and you're not a crazy person because I've never met you before.
I'm not calm. My son was taken. Nobody told me that anything happened. My son was taken from school by either police, and I was not informed, or by somebody who is not legally allowed to pick him up from school.
Yeah. So here's what's going on. If the ex-husband shows up at the school and the wife's dead, we're not going to release the kid to the ex-husband who just killed the mother. That's going to put the kid in harm's way. So that's just standard police 101 business.
That's very casually being like, if this was the opposite way and the person did the murder, we wouldn't release it. Also, this is exactly what's happening. But I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm basically implying, but that's what's going on. But I'm not going to tell you that's what's going on. I'm just going to give you an example. If the genders were swapped. So basically, you're the suspect and we think you killed him. But hypothetically, in a different situation, if it was a guy who did it, we wouldn't do it. We would have. That's great. That's great interrogation.
Probably about 3.
Okay. I called his daycare at 5-ish, and she said he was still there.
When we got a homicide like this,
thanks for farting, whoever that was.
Okay, but then nobody did. They have.
Why is there a Grammy on the screen?
So they couldn't have just said.
Yeah, you're not listening. We didn't.
That's not a Grammy. That's an Oscar. Grammys are music.
Don't release him to me. But you could. Nobody even told me his whereabouts. Well, I thought he was with his father.
The police escorted him back here. The child is being interviewed by a forensic interviewer.
He should not be interviewed because I didn't give consent for him to be spoken to.
He's a witness, so he doesn't need consent from the police.
Was he there? Was he in the?
But he's going to tell us about the relationship between you and his father.
But I don't.
You don't understand.
He's 5.
Well, you might not have anything to say.
You don't understand it.
No, I don't understand how this can all happen without me even knowing that anything happened in the first place.
Because you're not the arbiter of crime.
I was not contacted in any sort of form
or of interrogation
about my child's whereabouts or that there was even an incident.
I don't know about that specifically. I know we wanted to find you and we were trying to track you down.
You could have found me when you picked him up from school because they have my information. I pay for him to go to that school. They have that information.
Okay. We're kind of going around in circles here. I'd like to exonerate you if you didn't have anything to do with this and get you out of this police department.
Yes, because I would like to see my son.
I don't think you want to hang out with me. Do you know of anyone that want to get
I don't think you want to hang out with me.
In trouble? No.
Or out to get him? Shoot him?
No.
Nothing like that? Okay. Does it surprise you that someone would go up and shoot him?
Yes, it surprises me a lot. I don't. Okay. I didn't know. I don't know anybody.
Yeah, I'm really shocked. I have no idea. I didn't know somebody could do this.
The detective is about to reveal the extent of the evidence they have against her.
I didn't know somebody could do this.
Everything that happened, but there are some things that are really kind of concerning. We saw your car in the area of the crime scene. Your car was a Nissan Rogue that is missing a front passenger front hubcap. We got your car on a license plate reader a little while ago with your license plate, and it has that front passenger hubcap missing. Sure enough, in the videos around the crime scene, that car is there with that front passenger hubcap missing.
Devin doesn't say a word, nor move an inch.
So I'm really kind of concerned. I know that you got served just the other day with the child custody order, and you're a little upset about that. You told AJ, you told Devin in the past that AJ knows where you live, and that he'll shoot you if he needs to.
I told who?
You told that to Devin, and Devin told that to Rose, your sister.
The detective was talking about her boyfriend AJ, but got the names mixed up, and Devin now chooses to respond by acting confused. Moments after sitting silent during the reveal of the evidence.
I know you just accused me of murder, but my name is Devin. Checkmate.
Yeah. Well, Jason heard that from you. You said that.
I said that? I've never said that.
Why is your car in the crime scene area? Why are you in that area in your car? Why are you turning off your scanner?
I didn't turn off my scanner.
You did.
No, I didn't.
She technically didn't turn off her scanner, but she's once again arguing semantics as her new escape route, instead of confronting the ever-clarifying reality directly in front of her.
Before the homicide, you're not doing anything with the scanner. It's stationary.
It is very funny that she's nitpicking the accusation. She's like, if you're going to accuse me, you should do it accurately. Okay? You better get my name correct. You better get the evidence correct, because I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take this. You better get your ducks in a row. Otherwise, I'm going to freak out over this accusation. Not because it's what you're implying, but because it's inaccurate. God.
Or more. And it should be mobile because you're working, but it's at your boyfriend's house. And why is your car in the crime scene area?
I don't.
We've got video of your car in the crime scene area.
I don't know why it would be on camera that my car was down there, but I don't.
Listen.
If I don't scan.
She attempts to trail off into post office protocol, so the detective escalates the confrontation.
Lunch break, sort of.
Devin, I think you're a good person, but something's not right here. I think the gig is up. There's something weird going on here. Everything is pointing to you being involved in the shooting. The video of the shooter looks kind of like you. It's from a distance, but it looks like your height and your build. It doesn't look like AJ's height and build. Now, we're going to search your house, we're going to search your car, we're going to seize your car. It's not a random shooting. So the gig is up. Okay?
I read on the way here about what happened, and they said that a man shot him.
That's what we originally thought. Yeah. Now we're thinking it could be you. We're thinking it could be maybe your boyfriend. Thank you. Thanks.
What am I supposed to
We're trying
say?
to get all this evidence together, and we're trying to put the pieces together. And I don't think you're being truthful with me. Your ex, who you've said AJ would kill, is now dead.
I never said that.
Well, I don't care. I wasn't there.
Devin, who's been sitting in denial and avoidance for the entirety of this interrogation,
not really relevant,
will
but
now
okay.
directly challenge the detective for a display of passive aggression, and he quite simply doesn't know how to react.
It could have just been an off-the-cuff remark. We're going to do a gunshot test.
It could be her being like, hey.
We're going to do a gunshot residue test on you.
What do you mean, A?
No. We're going to do a gunshot residue test on you.
The detective now does what he should have done from the start of this interrogation.
I'm asking you to trust me. Because if you didn't do this, and things got out of control, and you panicked, and you didn't think this guy was going to kill him, you thought maybe he's going to rough him up, that's understandable. So that's why I want you to trust me. If something like that happened.
I understand why I would
scratching
be a
of something
suspect
from the mic in my
because
ear.
of who I am related to him.
And your car.
But I don't.
Doesn't acknowledge the part where her car was there.
I don't. There was things in the past that have happened with him and I that.
What do you mean there was a camera near where I was gonna kill that guy?
Call the police. I mean, I have.
There's no way I'm running away on camera.
There's other things that I could have done. Why would I shoot him?
The detective now reverts back to not giving a shit.
I don't know why people ever shoot people. Your car was there.
Fair, I mean, valid point.
Your car.
I was at work on my route, which
He's
is not
literally giving her an out.
super close to the post office.
Why is your car in Longmont?
Didn't even take the out, bro. That's crazy.
I don't know. I am on my route working.
Do you work in a mail truck or your personal car?
No, I work in a mail truck.
Okay. So why is your car down here killing your ex?
I don't know. But it sounds
understand
like
why that's so concerning to me.
Yes, I do understand
so did
that.
Borrow your car? Help me out here.
I don't know, but it seems like with all of these things that you're going to be doing that I need to have a lawyer or ask for a lawyer, or I don't know.
Lady.
I don't know what I'm supposed to
way
say about
past
that.
I mean, it's too fucking late.
Devin then speaks to a postal inspector for an hour and a half, who doesn't get anywhere either. They then collect forensic evidence before we reach the end of the footage.
I wonder if they found gunshot residue.
And they all just stand there, sharing the awkward moment together.
Right. So here's the situation. I need you to go ahead and turn around for me. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Do not move, okay?
Am I under arrest then?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Getting cuffed. Am I under arrest? Take a guess, Devin. Take a guess. You'll never believe it. You'll never believe the answer. You're gonna freaking lose your mind at the results. Number 4 had me shitting.
We'll discuss that here in just a second.
Devin's deleted text messages further confirmed the murder was premeditated, as she
oops.
had planned the whole thing out with her boyfriend, who was tailing Jason's car and feeding her information about his whereabouts right before the murder. They were both given life sentences without the possibility of parole.
You said
No,
that
I said that my
came up.
mind.
Another slam dunk by the greatest investigator phone. The greatest investigator of all time, the greatest forensic collector, iPhone.
It was fuzzy. And then what I was feeling was upset, sad, and just scared.
Understood. You what?
Nothing. I'm just like suffering from some digestive complications.
All right.
I just have to shit. So anyway, I sliced his neck open. Ew. Why is she looking like that?
He said he last remembered your hand being inside the purse, and you were pulling away, and that's when he remembered getting shot.
I pulled it from him, and I shot him.
Now, he then said he ran out, crawled across the road, and at one point, you jumped on his back and then cut his throat.
I didn't.
Do you remember that?
No.
You don't
I didn't
remember
jump
that?
on his back or anything.
So why would he be lying about this?
I don't know. Probably to cover it up. He was on drugs. He was seriously fucked up. That's just wrong.
So you're saying everything that he said in here, nothing is the truth?
Going with the... No, nothing. Besides the fact that he crawled across the street.
That's the only thing in here that's the truth?
Yeah.
She explains that she got changed into a new pair of clothes after she stole the victim's car.
Okay, why'd you change clothes?
Because I didn't want to be recognized by any of the neighbors when I got back to finish, like, taking my bullshit and just leaving. That way I could just call about this and say, hey, Blake is a scary man, and I had to fuck him up to get away from him. That's what I wanted to do. But then those nosy neighbors called...
Nosy neighbors.
Again.
Those nosy neighbors watching me execute my husband. Shame on you, nosy neighbors.
Seems like you're in a daze. What are you thinking about?
Oh.
Playing scary stuff in my head.
Definitely not tweaking right now.
They ask Amber for a visual demonstration.
I tried to find a tall person. Okay, I'm not that tall, but you said he was taller than you, so I just wanted to see, while you were in the house, how it actually happened.
And I was, like, kind of comfortable in my sleep, and he came over to me.
You seem like you're in a daze.
Asking me questions. And that's when I just decided that I would do something like this to get things out of his hand. And I turned the gun around, and I just kind of hunkered
just thinking
up
of scary stuff.
Pulled.
Oh my god! They brought a gun for her to... Hold up, dude. I was doing a bit and missed... They gave her... This is fucking crazy. I don't think I've ever seen this. They're giving her a firearm to reenact what she did. Prop gun? Probably not. That's probably just a discharged, unloaded firearm. That's a real gun. That's not a prop. They straight up are giving her a weapon to
while
exemplify.
You were in the house, how it actually happened.
And I was like kind of comfortable in my sleep.
Okay.
Look at him, he's so good being a basket. Good job, cop.
And he started like asking me questions. And that's when I just decided that I would do something like this to get things out.
This is all evidence. Just, I mean, we know this, but just so we're clear, this is evidence. This is all evidence.
Out of his hand, and I turned the gun around, and I just kind of hunkered up, and
the Donald Trump shot. Be gone, thug. Here comes my blicky. I'm gonna shoot you so bad. Bang.
All right. Knife.
You're like on the floor. You're bleeding. You get up and you come towards me. That's when I took this out and just quickly slashed him.
Blake is running this way, I think, because the house is back that way.
Yeah, and Blake
But earlier she said she slashed his neck before and after.
Basically like this, but on the other side.
Highlighter knife like it's a paintball match. Yeah, crazy.
And I just added
get
a
out of the
little,
way!
like, quick, like,
boom!
So is this the other side of his neck now?
No, just like the same exact place.
This other guy just like, and when do you
It's
kill me?
Flicky with a sticky E.
when do you slice my throat? Am I gonna? This is the cop being the body. That's crazy.
Okay.
I really don't know if I've ever seen this. I'm sure it's happened. I don't know if I've ever watched any sort of interrogation where they've let the person like do this, especially where like a second cop is playing the victim and they give them a gun to show what they did. That's insane. They're literally, they're doing charades. I've never seen this.
You did switch it, but it was still the same direction, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Understood. All right. Wow. Better picture. I should probably do this more often.
That was fun.
No. All right, give me 1 minute. Let me get you another one.
Honestly, please do. It's very entertaining.
If you need to use the restroom, let me do.
Yeah, I'd like to use the restroom.
If I can find pants, would that be okay? I mean, it's kind of weird.
Pants.
Yeah.
Amber took a plea deal and pled guilty to attempted murder. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison.
Wait, he lived? Wait. Ew. Oh, she had no shoes on? Ew. Okay, wait, hold on. I need to go back to his explanation of this.
Come down and you have your rights to get
and
I think I missed it.
I'm actually
Old Amber. This is 20-year-old Amber Riswin, sitting inside a police interrogation room at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. All you need to know at this moment is that Amber doesn't quite realize how much trouble she's in.
Oh, he never said. Okay, wait, so she shot him in the face, sliced his neck twice, and he lived? That's crazy, man. I hope he's okay. Oh my God, bro. This video had so much. I'm so happy about this video. I'm so happy we watched it eventually. There's so much here. It took 2.5 hours, but oh my God, there was so much packaged in this. I loved it. I love all of the, I want him to do more of this where it's like, I mean, I do love the singular cases he goes over, but I love overarching theme. I love the overarching themes in which he finds like parallels in interrogations. Those are so fun because there's so much to grab at. There's so much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cases. There's 5 cases here. Crazy. What a great video, man. I will like that one. I will like it.